the person who'll be speaking to us next. He drives the business for both the Philippines and Singapore. He worked with a wide range of clients, from publishers to media agencies and advertisers. These include Samsung, Coke, and more recently Solaire Resort and Casino here in the Philippines. He's taken on high-level concepts and creating right audience, real engagement marketing solutions that are right for clients' project and budget. He's an active member in the web community and can often be found at local meetups and conferences in and around Southeast Asia. He took up business marketing at the University of Wales. Please welcome the head of sales of Innity, Kelvin Ho.
Hello. Hello. Can you all hear me? Right. In case those are still walking out, well, I do have a bottle of champagne I'll be giving out to one of you audience. I do not have 6,000 peso to give out, but yep, this is worth about 2,008. Yep. So just bear with me for about between half an hour to 30 minutes. Okay, my name is Kelvin. I'm actually from Singapore, but I spend 1/3 of my time in Philippines. Innity, we actually do have office here in the Philippines itself. We started a little over a year, so I'm a little over a year now. I've been here, many times already. So essentially what Innity does, Innity is actually an online ad network itself. So, we do sell things that is very, very common to you guys. Display banners based on cost per click, cost per thousand, and so on. So today I just want to touch on a few points, mainly towards the theme of right audience and real engagement. But before I go on to that, a lot of key advertisers, we are always using, number of clicks to actually measure the performance of the campaign, whether we are doing well or not. So with that, I would like to share this video with you. You didn't try the video. Okay, I'm sorry, due to some technical problems, so I'll just skip the video. But then probably the next presenter will be sharing this video as well, because I believe the topic is about viral. So we are all marketers here. When I was attending college, the time my lecturer always say that in a day a consumer is being exposed to 1,200 ads. So I decided to actually do a bit of research on my own to find out how many ads are we exactly exposed to. So it actually started with a comment made by Mr. Edwin Abel, VP of General Foods, in the year 1957. So he said that a family of 4 is exposed to 1,500 ads. Okay. Several years later, Bauer and Grazer, he actually said out of so many ads that consumers are being exposed to, they only notice 76 of them. So come closer to today, the latest research that I've gotten is based on Media Matters, which was done several years ago. So it states that in a consumer in a cosmopolitan city, they are exposed to potentially 600 to 625 ads itself. So this ranges from out of home, TV, radio, digital, so on and so forth. So here's the thing. A consumer is being exposed to so many ads in a day itself. All the brands are trying to capture the attention of the audience. So how do I ensure that my brand, is always on the top of recall? If I'm a soft drink brand, how do I ensure that a consumer walks into a supermarket, the moment you open the fridge, the first can that he picked is actually mine? I always joke about this thing. There's two ways we can do it. One way is to hire a award-winning creative director, okay, who come up with a very radical concept. Another way is to pump a lot of money, in terms of advertisement placement. Everything we place on premium, the best location of billboards, full page, full color, prime time TV, radio drive, rush hour radio spots, and so on. But at the end of the day, you know, how many brands can actually afford to do that? But recently, there's actually one. Okay, so I was wrong. And if you are curious which brand actually did that, the brand was X. Concept, how radical it is, they decided to put a man in the moon. Okay, they not only use social media, they not only have +1, they plus many. They were found in billboards, they were found in TV, on top of social media. So it actually creates a lot of traction from there. So I think Donald was very, very right. You know, in a lot of execution, we cannot just rely on social alone to drive the business and to drive the KPIs. At the end of the day, how we treat digital now these days is that we have to look at it as a 360, 360 marketing tool. It's no longer a standalone. So for businesses to actually embark onto advertising, onto digital, I guess fundamentally, we have to find two things first. First is that, okay, what is my business objective? Is to increase sales. Subsequently, what is my marketing objective? My marketing objective is to create awareness so that consumers are aware of it. Then naturally, how I drive them into my retail store, and from the store itself, how sales is being converted. So fundamentally, about the point about, so it's, you know, a lot of time, bosses, CEOs, they tend to lump everything together. So it's often our job to constantly remind them that, hey, look, there's always a business objective, yes, no doubt about it, but also a marketing objective. Okay? So let's look at the marketing strategy that we have been doing all this decade. So would all of y'all would anyone disagree that, you know, when I say ATL activity always have to do with awareness? You know, ATL activity, when it comes to TVC, usually we run an ad for either 15 second or 30 second. Okay, we get to talk a bit more about the product, and that's about it. We grab the consumer attention span, and that's about it. When we have a print ad on a newspaper, usually we select the most captivating colors, have very arresting visual to hold on to the reader's attention as long as possible. And then probably with a nice copy. So probably they'll stay on for about 2 or 3 seconds. Okay, same goes for billboard. There's very little info that can be put inside. Next, when we do BTL, we run a lot of events. That's when we try to drive, sampling and trial, and then eventually try to drive conversion. But at the end of the day, okay, let's take a step back. Do consumers jump from awareness straight away to action? Nobody would be, okay, today I'm aware that this product is out, and next is that I'll run to the store and buy it immediately. So when it comes to digital advertising, it is also rather similar. When we do banner advertising, we are also creating awareness to a certain point. Because why? Within a banner itself, let's take a 300 by 250, which is a rectangular banner. We are limited by probably 7 or 8 frames of messages that we can put in. There's limited space whereby we can put visual in. So it's only about letting people know that, hey, this product is out there. But when we do search, yes, what search does is that, okay, to guide those people who are aware, I create SEO and SEM program to actually lead them to the path that I want them to discover about my product. At the end of the day, like I said earlier, no consumers would jump from awareness to action. So what actually essentially is missing from here is consideration and favorability. So Innity itself, okay, we wanted to actually explore this point because we are looking at, okay, why are certain campaigns, yes, we do have very good click-throughs, but at the end of the day, there aren't many conversions. So on this note, okay, we took a study on brand engagement loop. So to understand how consumers actually think, what's their thought process. So take, for example, okay, Samsung. Samsung were to launch the new S5, for example. So they create a campaign. Consumers are aware about it. Okay, consideration comes whether they will consider whether to buy or not to buy. So what is favorability all about is about how much they understand about the product. So meaning to say that, okay, I'm a consumer, I know that Samsung is out, I consider to buy or not to buy. I know that Within the new S5, it has a larger screen, so I can see clearer. It has longer battery life, so I do not need to bring my extra battery pack with me all the time. I charge once and it can last me the entire day. So all these are features whereby I deem it as benefits. So that will increase my favorability, whereby it will prompt me as a consumer to take action of talking to the salesperson of Samsung or the retail store, and eventually the experience that I'll get, I'll share with my friends, family, and colleagues. So with that concept, right, we actually created this ad unit. It's called Lightbox. So I'll just take a moment to show you. So as you can see here, okay, this is just a banner, 1 frame, 2 frame, 3, probably a 5 or 6 frame, very limited messages. It only showcases a lady itself. So what we does, right, we wanted to create a better user experience. So when a user actually mouse over or click on the banner, it actually pops up and showcases the entire bigger unit.
Basic lip balm, new baby lips cellular repair balm from Maybelline New York. The next generation in lip care is its clinical strength, increasing moisture, elasticity, and decreasing lines. Get back the lips you were born with. New baby lips, only from Maybelline.
So over here itself, what Maybelline did was that it actually showcased the TV commercial. So earlier on over the banner, you see that there's this lady over here. But then we, as consumer, we can't quite really tell whether is this a product for a middle-aged lady or is it for a younger crowd. But the TVC actually clarifies all the question. Not only that, okay, Maybelline actually want to tell a bit more about the product. So we know that now baby lips actually give up to 8 hours of hydration. So ladies in this room, with this product, you do not have to worry about reapplying your lip balm all the time. You just probably need to apply once and it can last you the entire day. And it showcased the several flavors that it comes with, like this. And as all typical beauty care product, they like to talk a bit about the science and give some testimonials of it. So within 4 weeks, you can see the difference of your lips, and within 8 weeks, you can see, fuller and suppler lips itself. So whenever I showcase this, right, my client will ask me, they will pause and ask me, say, Kelvin, why do you make things so difficult? Can't I just put a banner? People, consumer just click on the banner and I direct them straight to my website. Why do I need to create an additional step of this microsite or this light box down here? So here's the thing, okay, for the past 3 years, of a lot of campaigns which Innity run based on cost per thousand, CPM or CPC, we realized there's a very strange phenomenon, and that is actually bounce rate. Meaning to say, people are clicking onto the banner, yes, but once they land onto the website that they are being directed to, they do not explore further. They just close and they leave. So the next question would be, could this due to poor targeting and then wrong targeting, or is it because we are driving the wrong audience or accidental click? Because some bounce rate are as high as 60-70%. So what we are creating here, right, I tell the client, look, Mr. Client, what we are doing here is that we are not replicating your entire website. I'm just taking 1 or 2 USP of your product, put it up here, get the user interested, and if they are interested, they'll click on this button to find out more, and if they like it, they'll actually share it out in social media. So this model of Lightbox, how Innity actually sell it, right? We actually sell it based on cost per engagement. So in terms of cost per engagement, how it works is that there's 3 criteria to fulfill. First criteria, the user has to either mouse over or click on the banner.
It's the end of basic.
Second criteria, this Lightbox has to be fully loaded. Third criteria, the user has to stay there for more than 3 seconds. Then it's considered as an engagement. If someone's accidentally mouse over or click onto it and accidentally launch it, the immediate reaction would be to close this down. So that is not considered an engagement. Okay. So much on the creative. At the end, how are we reporting based, not just clicks alone? So what we look at is that we actually create a report that try to make more sense of things, you know. In a screenshot, all this, by the way, what you're seeing here is that the advertiser actually gain full access, so they can at any time just log in to look at, you know, how their campaign is actually performing. So over here, what you see is a report screen cap of, you know, Maybelline's campaign. So at a snapshot, we know that so far there's 9,000 over engagement that take place, you know, out of which we managed to drive 1,900 people onto Maybelline website. But key important thing is that now we get to report on the time spent on the ad itself. So this gives marketers a lot of justification. Now they can say, okay, good, okay, at least I know where my money, what I'm spending on. I've got 9,000 over people spending 34 seconds on my ad. And on top of that, they want to know, okay, what are they interacting on? So these are all the interaction buttons which we have created. And this, what it reports on is actually the video play time. If you do not have a video, this column will not appear at all. So moving on, just to recap what cost per engagement is, basically it's being set to actually create consideration and improve consumer favorability. Okay, impressions are basically being run for free. And more importantly, actually mitigate rebounds of rate. Okay, so here I have some creative showcase to show to you all. Some are being done in Philippines, some are being done in the region. Okay, this is one which we have actually created for ANZ. ANZ is Australian and New Zealand bank. This campaign is actually based out of Singapore itself. So here's the challenge. ANZ actually has this product which is they actually want people to apply unsecured loans. So what unsecured loan is that, you know, it gives you loan up to, you know, twice your salary, and then you can use it at any point of time. So something like credit card, kind of credit level, but then you just do not have the card. You just have a bank card, and then you draw the money out of it. So their challenge was that, you know, how do I know a person actually need loan? So we actually came up with a story about, you know, why not we create 4 pillars, okay? When do people actually need the additional cash would be, you know, probably during their wedding. You know, it would cost a lot of money, so that's when they actually apply for loan. When they probably want to refurbish the house, or probably they want to, you know, finance themselves for expensive holiday, or even down to education. So what we did was this. So the banners open up into a light box. The user click here to actually make a plan. So over here, it actually shows 4 pillars. So for example, if I'm planning a wedding, I click onto this. What it does is that, okay, it comes out with like a calculator. So I key my name, Kelvin, okay, my partner name, okay, let's say Amy, my wedding venue, okay, I'll have it in a hotel ballroom. Food and beverage selection, well, I prefer a sit-down dinner, okay. Estimated number of guests, okay, since I'm here now, I met some Philippine friends, so I probably need to invite, you know, probably like 500 now. Yep, I definitely want to have a honeymoon. Oh, okay, there's more. Okay, where do I want to fly to? Oh yeah, definitely Europe. Okay, for how many days? Okay, I think my boss can let me off for 1 month. So what else do I need? Okay, invitation cards, yes, I need that. Wedding rings, yes, most probably. And hair and makeup, okay. So, okay, the list I can just check it on. But just to show you, give you an illustration. So immediately, I click on calculate, pump. I know, oh my gosh. Kelvin, you and Amy plan to have a hotel ballroom wedding for 500 guests, okay, with a Europe holiday of 30 days. So this is the cost amount I need. For wedding, food and beverage, $80,000. By the way, it's in Sing dollars. So other wedding expenses is 6,008. My honeymoon would probably cost me 29,000. So then it then prompt, okay, do I want to actually make this happen? So if I make this happen, what it does is that it actually clicks on to ANZ website, and then that's when I can actually apply the loan. So what is actually creating, what we are actually trying to create here is that nuances that, you know, to prompt people, okay, these are the times that probably, you know, additional cash would comes in handy. I don't think ANZ will loan straight away 116,000, but probably ANZ can loan up to maybe 10,000, and this would be probably quite handy for the newlyweds. So moving on to another creative that I've done. So this is what we have actually done for Coke last year in Philippines itself. So Coke has actually, during Christmas, they wanted the user to actually tweet your Christmas happiness. So what we did for our Lightbox, right, we actually combined with the API, which means the back end of tweet, and straight away user, when they launch this, right, they're able to actually, it's hashtag to Coke's page, and then you're able to actually tweet this, and all the messages will actually appear here real time itself. So this is how we actually do, taking from a display environment, combining social to it to actually engage the audience even further. Okay, McDonald's, we do have McDonald's in Singapore too. So McDonald's came to us with this thing. So they actually have a, for this period, okay, early on this year, what happened is that they have this everyday savers menu. So what they are afraid of is that, hey, they come to me and say, look, Kelvin, we are deciding to price our burgers and fries cheaper, but we are afraid that consumer may not remember the cost, the cheaper price. So what do you have? Can you create a game, a kind of interactivity within your Lightbox element to get user engaged, therefore they can remember the price? So we took back the brief, brainstorm a little, and this is what we did. Of course, on the first page, we show what are the new pricing of the merchandise that they have. There's, of course, a store locator within Singapore map itself. That's how we actually segregate Singapore, not by city, but by region. And we created this Savvy Savers Challenge. So over here, it asks, are you a savvy saver? Okay, you have 5 seconds to memorize all the great prizes of the Everyday Savers menu. So if you're ready, okay, let's start the game. Okay, you got 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Okay, now, okay, anyone know which one? Which one? McChicken. Okay. McChicken. You got it right, you get 1 coin. Which 4 under 150? Fries? Okay. Yes, you got it right, you win another coin. $1? Sorry? The corn. Okay. No, then you lose a coin. Apple? Apple pie? Okay, you got it right. So you have saved 4 coins and you have lost 1 coin. You're almost there. So it's like, we are playing on the notion of saving, and at the same time, this memory game actually helps the user actually remember what's the pricing of the new products. Not the new products, the existing products that they have. So, okay. So this campaign, what we did was actually with Milo. Do y'all have Milo here? Okay. How do you drink your Milo? Hot or cold? Cold. Hot and cold. Some hot, some cold. Okay. So what Milo actually discovered is that, Milo is a drink whereby the youngsters does not drink it anymore. Why? So they went to do a poll. They find out that, well, because Milo is usually being made hot, and then after which, to cool it, you need to add some more ice. But having too much ice, it actually dilutes the flavor. So it makes it very hard for you to concoct a nice iced Milo drink. So what they have actually launched to gain back the market share from the younger demographics is that they actually come up with a new formula. The new formula is 3-in-1. It actually melts. It actually dissolves in temperature water or even ice water. So what we have actually came up for them is actually this. How to make iced Milo. So tear the packet, pour it in, pour cold water in, shake it, and there you have it. Okay, it may seem kind of boring and dry, right? How do we by using one video, how do we engage the millennials of these days? So we actually created more videos to it. Anybody know how to peel an egg in 10 seconds? No one knows, right? How do you peel a hard-boiled egg in 10 seconds? So I'll just show you. Peel an egg in 10 seconds, hard-boiled egg. Tap the top, peel it off. Tap the bottom, peel it off. And here comes the magic. Just blow it. It's so simple. And there you have it, okay? So, in digital, right, certain things about digital which are key is that we are able to bring in, additional content. Although, peeling the egg, it has nothing to do with Ice Milo, but it's just display of, DIY home tips whereby you can actually adopt. Where some, not every other media is able to do that. Like for print, they will have probably difficulty how to actually produce additional content to complement on what Milo actually has. I'll just show you one more. Pour ketchup, no, that one's not interesting. Peel garlic. You all love garlic, right? Peel a head of a garlic, super fast. Squash it, put it into a bowl, cap it with another bowl and shake it hard. Just about 20 shakes and it's all done. Yeah. Okay. So of course, I have a lot more case studies, or probably I'll just show you one more, which is what we did in Philippines for LG. Okay, yes, this is actually one of my favorite, in terms of one of the favorite campaigns that I've actually done. Okay, what is interesting is that, can I have a show of hand? How many of y'all have smartphones here? Wow, very good. Okay, the beauty about smartphone is that we are able to use our hands and fingers to navigate around, right? Correct. The ease of it, but LG decided to bring the stylus back to smartphone. So we were cracking our head. They said, hey, yeah, I know lah, we have this stylus back. I know it's not that cool, but can you make it look cool? So, okay, I'll say, okay, let us go back and see what we can do. So what we have created is actually this. So of course over here we showcase, LG latest, Optimus. We talk about the product itself, what is it all about, and then some technical specs of it. And then when we go back, we actually created this thing called a quick demo. Okay, so when it comes to quick demo, I can actually create my own image by either uploading a photo that I have, or I turn on the webcam. And here I am. So, we are using, not only just the ad itself, we are really interacting with the actual audience itself that's deploying on this app. So to show the coolness of the stylus, what we have is actually we created a pen. You can choose the font size that you want, and then I can draw a halo on top of me or something like that. And I can upload it to my Facebook itself. So I have actually have more. You can actually download it from the resource of all the campaigns that we have done. So I want to move on to the second step really quick. So one of the ways, right, how we actually find. I finished with the engagement. So now I'm talking a bit more about finding the right audience. So one of the ways how we actually find the right audience is that the simplest way or the most native way is actually through channel targeting. If I am an IT product like Samsung, I'll buy into channels such as technology. Okay, if I am a hotel chain, I'll definitely buy into a channel or a category that is known as travel. On top of that, with multi-screen and all, I want to actually save or conserve or prevent wastages. Now I can actually select and buy by timing itself to launch to show when I can actually show my creative. And One more thing is actually we can actually create this thing called a frequency cap. Because if we do not actually have frequency cap, what we could have is that, 3% being exposed multiple times rather than, 10 people get to expose one time each to maximize our digital spend. So with that, I want to actually introduce to you Innity Engage Plus. So what is most important in this room for all marketers is that, 2 years ago, I have a client that come to me and told me, say, Kelvin, okay, you got nice presentation, very sexy things that you have done, very cool about it. But Kelvin, can you tell me, how do I find my audience? Can you tell me who are my potential customer, who are just, browsing, not interested, and who can be potentially, my brand advocate? So with that, right, that is a very tall challenge. So with that, what we do is that we develop it for about a year. So this was just launched in EdTech this year itself. So what we does is that, okay, typically when a brand buys into, the internet, they have a pool of audience, right? So if, for example, if I'm P&G, I only want to target female, so I'll buy into female channel sites. So what happens is that I'll only buy into female channel sites, eliminating all the males in blue. Okay? I will buy into engagement model. Why? Because all the female that is being exposed to the ad, not necessarily that they are interested or they are the key influencer to buying the product. So by engagement, they already show that, okay, this person have slight stronger intent than the rest. And through how they actually engage on the ad itself, we are able to determine who are just browsing, who are potential buyer, and who are influencer of your brand. So we have actually created, recently we have actually done a campaign with the Body Shop. So Body Shop, we know that they are very famous for their tea tree product. So they've actually come up with a series of tea tree product, tea tree facial wash, tea tree moisturizer, and tea tree oil. So of course they buy they buy Lightbox media placement through Innity itself. So here it is. So they have a brand Facebook page. So we tell them that, hey, look, you have about 66,000 fans over your brand page. Why don't we actually extend this Lightbox to your Facebook page as an app? So we actually included that. They also have a website. So we say, why don't we actually extend the Lightbox onto your website? And then at the end, we actually do real-time tracking and reporting, and to find out who are actually your audience, who are your potential buyers, who are just your browser, and who are your influencer. So to show you the sample of the campaign, I just show you the Lightbox. Okay. So here we have it. Join the Instagram contest, win tea tree oil, and then they have a TVC. So this video is about a minute long. So, unlike TVC, we do not charge extra if, let's say, you put a minute long video clip. But then normally what we advise clients is that if you put too long a clip, it may risk people dropping off because people may not, sit through the entire clip. But back to the ad itself, okay, what they did was that, Body Shop actually created these 3 mascots, okay? To tie in with the 3 products, one for day use, one for night use, and one for 24/7 use. So the interactivity level part is what we have actually done here, which is which tea tree oil is for me. So we actually did a pictorial poll, like, ask people, let's take part in this skincare diagnosis itself. So It's a very simple click-on kind of survey whereby user don't have to type in a lot of stuff. So if I'm male, I just click here and I click continue. My age is 37. There isn't 37, so I click 31. And okay, my problem, blemish skin. Yeah, probably 37. You get that quite a bit. And here, I key in my contact details, my name, my address, my cell phone number, and there's actually a redemption whereby I can either choose to redeem a tea tree oil sample, travel size kit, facial wash, or both of them. So once they have done that, right, what we did is that immediately we will actually fire off, our system will fire off SMS with a barcode attached to the user's cell phone. User cell phone, just go down to the store and redeem the thing. Because the SMS is sent in a form as a barcode, so any barcode scanner can recognize the code itself. The staff do not need additional devices like handphone to QR the thing. No, it's just as simple as that. So over here, the fourth tab, here is a video whereby, you know, it's more like CSR video of a body shop that it talks about it works with community fair trade program. And here is actually a list of all the people who have actually tried and tested their products. So back to my presentation. So what we did was that, okay, we came out with this concept, okay, we designed this, we walked through with the client, and then next step is that, okay, we actually extend this to the Facebook itself. So over here on Facebook, this is where we created an icon. When user click onto this, pop, it actually bring them to the next page. It's still within Facebook Body Shop Singapore, but what it showcases is actually the light box which we have created. Why did we put it there? It's because they have actually existing 66,000 users already. So why let it go to waste? You know, from paid media, we bring it to earned media, which is social itself. And not only that, from there, we actually extend it to the brand website. Okay, so here's the icon we've created. So click, pop, this is where it will appear. So we actually fulfill quite a few criteria. Paid, owned, earned media. So bringing media, digital media to actually the fullest. On top of that, we actually work out a methodology with the client to say that, okay, a lot of people may launch and open this up. So if they are just looking at this, fine, we'll just consider them as a browser. But if they are willing to participate in the skin diagnosis and they are reading on who are actually the users, who are the users who have given testament, okay, they are potential buyer. So what's the purpose of potential buyer? We don't just know who the potential buyers are. We cookie the potential buyers, and immediately we fire off another creative to the potential buyer to get them down the conversion path. You know, without waiting. We know they're interested. We send another message across just on a simple banner and say, hey, look, okay, here's a chance for you to actually, you know, get all these great offers at this particular price if you can come down by this date. As simple as that. And next, for users who actually share this ad onto their own wall, onto their own Facebook wall or Twitter wall, okay, we know who they are and they potentially are influencer to the brands. So what was interesting is that Body Shop actually, you know, we found quite a couple of them who are influencers. So Body Shop actually, we give them the list of who these influencers are. So Body Shop actually invited them over. It is interesting because one of them was just a secretary, another one was an office manager, another one is a receptionist, and the only gentleman in the crowd is the IT manager. So they found that these are really average people whereby consumers can easier relate to. You know, in the past they use a lot of bloggers, but then, you know, I don't know about Philippines, but in Singapore, bloggers are influenced by brands to influence consumer. So they don't really have the full credibility there for Singapore. So now they found that, oh, okay, I've got this new group of so-called social stars. I let them try out my product. You know, they bring home and test, and they can influence their friends. And the sharing, I can actually put it on my own Facebook brand page itself. So at the end, more importantly, we look at the results. From this audience grouping campaign, we found that 79% are basically browser. out of them, out of 100%, 16% are actually potential buyer and 5% are actually influencer. If we drill down to the numbers, they actually run a total of about 23,000 engagement, and at the end of the day, they obtain 1,000 over leads. So based on that ratio, it's probably close to 4.8%, which is very, very good. Okay, an average time spent of 21 seconds. And total, we actually have 3,580 people actually move on to their website. And they contribute an interaction of 17,993. So I always love this quote from Polo Ralph Lauren. He always, he shared that, it's always about finding the right technology to help him talk about his brand story. So just to share this other quote with you, it's by BBDO. Sometimes when we do digital campaign, it's not always about, having consumers to click or to buy straight away. Consumers need to go down a certain path, and sometimes the path is about feeling good about the brand. So, lastly, who Innity is, okay? We are a network with 10,000 websites in the region, okay? From 10,000, we break it down to 16 channels to help you target your audience better. Each month, we get about 50 million unique audience that contribute 2.7 billion ad impressions to our network. So here's a quick look at our heat map. So over in Philippines, we reach about 74% of the audience here. Okay, second slide. So I'd just like to share this thought with you, 70, 20, 10. Yesterday, I've heard a lot of people about, telling, marketers here that, hey, you all should try digital, you all should actually try search, you all should actually do this. No harm trying. So this is actually a theory. It has been theorized already, a formula, the 70-20-10 rule. So what the 70-20-10 rule, it tells us is that, okay, 70% of our resource or money we put into things we know will work for sure. 20% we put into things may or may not work. 10% let's put into things we never tried before. Because at the end of the day, the 10% that we put in, things that we never tried, we don't know what the outcome would be. Outcome can be bad, but it can be very, very good. So it's only through this 10% we can gain a lot of learnings. Yeah. So in Innity, we believe in, we does across the platforms. We believe in finding the right audience, putting them through the right funnel, okay, having the right branded product. With real engagement, we will give true performance. And that's all I have. Oh, yeah. Aha. The Moe. Okay. Question. Okay. Based on, okay. You all just raise hand, I'll see who's the fastest. Okay. Very easy one. Okay. Which is the latest thing that Innity has just launched during AdTech? Sorry? Engage what? Engage Plus. Okay. There you go, ma'am. Okay.
That was easy.
Yeah.
All right. Round of applause for Kelvin. Have a seat, Kelvin.
Okay.
Great examples. Agree? Nice stuff that they showed us from Innity that they've been able to execute very well with their clients. Do we have any questions out there? Feel free to approach the mic. I'll start off with Kelvin. Well, you talked about as well the length of ads. I mean, some people, that's their gauge. They don't know. I mean, that's their concern. How to gauge what's too long, what's too short, how much to put out there. You already established that it's no longer just a banner ad. You want to have more interactivity and for it to pop up out there. But how did you master this? This field of what amount of content is perfect for what kind of audience?
Actually, a lot of what we've done in Innity is that a lot of learnings that we have now is based on what we have actually tried and tested in the past.
Okay.
So take for example, have all of you all heard that, when we talk about standard banner, what is the average click-through rate? Standard banner is 0.1%. If you do expandable banner, it's 0.3%. But then it happens again, on some campaigns, why is travel campaigns, they can never hit 0.1%. It's always lower than that. So this sort of average is just what people try to do is just to create a standardization across. So what Innity did is that we actually go into each category itself, like because we believe that within each category, like travel campaign may not perform as well as automotive. IT campaign, from our learnings, it actually performed the best. So with the rich knowledge that we actually have from the past campaigns, and past campaign by which last year itself, as a group, we did about 2,400 campaigns in a region. So we have a lot of wealth of knowledge in terms of what to actually put in and what needs to be done to get the right engagement out of it.
So that's a lot of opportunity to see the trial and error, because you've got a lot of campaigns out there.
Correct. And I deliberately showcase like a very, a vast range of, not just pertaining to FMCG. FMCG, by and large, they're always advertising on TV. But there's opportunity here in digital. The key element here is that, well, at the end of the day, marketing is about, reach and frequency. What sort of makes, how do I mix my TV buy, my print buy, and my digital buy to get the maximum and cheapest cost of reaching all my target audience? That is what marketing is all about.
And one of the examples you showed is something that a lot of our other speakers were talking about as well, specifically Donald earlier, was engagement. When you mentioned one of the brands eventually reached out to the influencers, and how did you help them define these influencers, and what benchmark was, okay, somebody with more than 500 followers, or was it about learning more about them as well, looking at their posts and seeing how they engage with their followers?
Okay, so if you're talking about just influencer itself, essentially what we does is that when we came out with the concept, we will sit down with the client. Client would then agree with us, okay, if based on certain actions that goes in within the like box itself, we would then class them as influencer. Like, for example, they share it out onto their own wall and things like that. So the next process is that we take it offline. So client will actually invite them down together with us, and then client will interview them. And then from them, the brand will then pick up one or two to identify as an influencer. Of course, with studying of their profile and all.
And when you ask them to start, in a way, endorsing the brand, the products, how did their friends feel? Because they're not celebrities. If you're a celebrity and you follow a celebrity, you accept the fact that once in a while they will somehow endorse a product, formally or informally. But if you're an ordinary Joe or an ordinary, girl or guy out there, suddenly out of the blue saying, hey, I love this brand, they're like, what's up? I mean, how did their friends accept it?
So what we did is that, what Body Shop tried to do is that to actually create a community out of average people.
Okay.
So that's the key song that they are saying. And on top of that, well, they don't really pay. They don't really pay seriously. They don't get a single cent of doing that.
Okay.
So and whatever, it's just little achievement that they see that, okay, the sales increases, people liking their Facebook, their friends are engaging more. These are success which Body Shop find encouraging. So sometimes it's like, we don't have to go on a big way. Let's start from what we have, because we don't know what the outcome would be, like the 10%.
Interesting. All right. Anybody want to ask Kelvin some questions while he's here? He's not always in Manila. Or how often are you here?
I'm here once a week. Once a month for a week. Yeah.
Okay, my bad. He's often here. That's often enough for someone who's not based here. Any questions out there? Okay, ready to move on. A round of applause for Kelvin. Thank you. Very good stuff, entertaining stuff as well.